These are four distinct eras of bodybuilding that completely transformed how we approach muscle building. And the latest evolution might surprise you. For over a century, the quest to build muscle has undergone a radical transformation from the strongman exhibitions of the 1890s to today's science-backed lean bulking revolution. Let me take you through this fascinating journey and show you why the latest approach to bulking isn't just better, it's revolutionary. Our story begins in 1867 with a Prussian strongman named Eugen Sandow, known as the father of modern bodybuilding. Sandow wasn't just lifting heavy weights for show, he was establishing the foundation for an entire industry. In 1901, he staged what many consider the first bodybuilding competition at the Royal Albert Hall in England, calling it the Great Competition. But here's what's fascinating. The term bulking that Sandow and his contemporaries, like Arthur Saxon and Charles Atlas, used, meant something completely different from what we understand today. For them, bulking simply meant muscle gain. There was no concept of eating massive caloric surpluses or following extreme bulk and cut cycles. Being cut wasn't even a thing until the late 1940s. The Bronze Era, spanning from 1890 to 1929, was all about functional strength and basic muscle development. These early bodybuilders focused on strongman feats rather than aesthetic perfection. They ate whole foods, stayed relatively lean year-round, and built impressive physiques without the extreme dietary manipulations we see today. Everything changed in 1922 with the first official physique contest at Madison Square Garden, dubbed America's Most Perfectly Developed Man. Charles Atlas won that competition, and suddenly the focus shifted from pure strength to physical aesthetics. The classic era of the 1940s and 1950s brought us legends like Steve Reeves, who in 1947 became the first bodybuilder to truly approach what we'd call being cut. These golden era pioneers like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Frank Zane, and Franco Columbu had a completely different approach to nutrition than modern bodybuilders. Arnold himself said, "Everything I ate as a competitor was geared first and foremost to how much protein it had. My diet was based less on hunger and more on ensuring I met my daily protein requirements." But here's the kicker. Golden era bodybuilders typically ate low-carb diets with the majority of calories coming from fat. They consumed lots of eggs, whole milk, red meat, butter, and cheese, keeping carbohydrates under 100 grams daily. Even Arnold wasn't always shredded. In his early competitions during the 1960s, he actually carried higher body fat percentages than many of his competitors. Frank Zane once commented on Arnold's 1968 defeat, saying he wasn't in shape because it was all about being big and size with him. The real transformation happened in the 1990s, with the mass monster era. Dorian Yates ushered in an age of extreme size, followed by the legendary Ronnie Coleman, who dominated the Mr. Olympia from 1998 to 2005. Coleman's approach was nothing short of extreme, consuming over 6,000 calories daily with 600 grams of protein during his bulking phases. But here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. All that extreme bulking came with a price. Ronnie Coleman himself now admits, "I went through a back surgery that lasted 11 hours and acknowledges he can't walk properly due to the toll his extreme training and bulking took on his body." This brings us to the modern revolution, lean bulking. The game-changing moment came from a 2013 study published in the European Journal of Sports Science that completely shattered our understanding of caloric surplus and muscle growth. The study divided elite athletes into two groups. One group consumed roughly 2,960 calories daily, while the other consumed 3,600 calories. After 12 weeks, the results were shocking. The higher calorie group experienced a 15% increase in body fat mass compared to only 3% in the lower calorie group. But here's the revolutionary finding. There was no real difference in lean mass gained between the two groups. Think about that for a moment. The group eating 640 extra calories per day gained significantly more fat without gaining any additional muscle. This single study began dismantling decades of eat everything in sight bulking philosophy. If you want a done-for-you lean bulk plan that applies all of this science, check the link in the description. Recent research has consistently reinforced these findings. A 2025 pilot study examined middle-aged males following a 24-week program with 12-week bulking and cutting cycles. Multiple studies now show that exceeding a 600-700 calorie daily surplus leads to increased body fat with no additional muscle benefits. Dr. Lane Norton, a PhD in nutritional sciences and professional natural bodybuilder, summarizes it perfectly. While a calorie surplus might be advantageous for maximizing muscle growth, the extent of surplus required may have been overestimated. Current research indicates that a moderate surplus of 200–500 calories daily is optimal for muscle growth while minimizing fat gain. For most beginners, this translates to gaining 2–4 pounds of muscle per month, while advanced lifters should aim for 1–2 pounds monthly. The protein requirements have also been refined. Recent analysis of 49 studies shows that 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight is optimal, with anything beyond 2.2 grams potentially being overkill. I built a full program around these exact principles: calories, protein, training, all laid out week by week. Link below if you're serious about putting this into action. But lean bulking isn't just about the numbers, it's about food quality. A 500-calorie surplus from sugary pastries affects your body completely differently than the same surplus from oats, salmon, and avocados. High-sugar, ultra-processed foods create rapid insulin spikes that promote fat storage rather than muscle repair, while nutrient-dense foods support the metabolic pathways responsible for building muscle tissue. This philosophy has been championed by modern influencers like Chris Bumstead, the classic physique champion who's helped popularize aesthetic bodybuilding through his informative YouTube content. Even controversial figures like Greg Doucette have promoted main gaining, slowly building muscle without gaining fat, though the approach has evolved to acknowledge that beginners still need slight caloric surpluses. The benefits of lean bulking extend far beyond aesthetics. Research connects this approach with improvements in blood pressure, insulin sensitivity, and reduced inflammation. You maintain better metabolic health, avoid extreme weight fluctuations, and preserve insulin sensitivity that dirty bulking often destroys. Psychologically, lean bulking is more sustainable. Instead of the mental taxation of constantly cycling through extreme bulk and cut phases, you're eating similarly year-round with fewer dramatic swings in weight and diet. This reduces food-focused stress and allows you to maintain definition throughout the year. Studies comparing nutritionally guided clean bulking to unrestricted dirty bulking show remarkable results. The clean bulking group gained twice as much weight as the dirty bulking group, with nearly 72% of their weight gain being muscle mass rather than fat. The modern bodybuilding landscape reflects this evolution. We've seen the establishment of various divisions like men's physique and classic physique that cater to more aesthetic, proportioned builds rather than mass monsters. There's growing scrutiny of extreme size, with many arguing that bodybuilders became too large and detracted from the sport's aesthetic appeal. Recent trials comparing different caloric surpluses consistently show that both moderate 2–3% and high 9–10% surplus groups gain the same amount of muscle mass, but the higher intake group simply adds more fat. This research definitively proves that faster rates of body mass gain primarily increase fat rather than augmenting strength or muscle thickness. Today's approach recognizes that adding muscle tissue when you're already developed is like squeezing water into a nearly saturated sponge. It's possible, but painstaking. Real-world data suggests advanced natural lifters with 3 or more years of consistent training might gain as little as 0.25 pounds of muscle per month. The lean bulking revolution represents more than just a dietary shift. It's a return to the sustainable, health-focused principles that the Golden Era pioneers understood intuitively. They built incredible physiques without the extreme caloric manipulation, and modern science has now proven their approach was superior all along. By focusing on moderate surpluses, nutrient-dense foods, and sustainable practices, lean bulking allows you to build muscle efficiently while maintaining health, aesthetics, and psychological well-being. It's not just the latest trend, it's the ultimate method that combines the wisdom of bodybuilding's past with the precision of modern science. Stop guessing with your bulk. My Lean Bulk program breaks all of this down week by week. Grab it in the description before you start your next bulk. The evolution is complete, and lean bulking stands as the definitive approach for anyone serious about building muscle the right way.